Breathe. The first time I ask you to breathe, you normally will give a little shock. You know, a strong pressure. So now let's breathe again from the abdomen and not cranking up the torso, the upper torso, from the abdomen. Without that sucking power motion, alright? Just breathe. Deep yet comfortable. And you settle in the abdomen. This is an advanced class of kuji-in in the interpretation of the Dharma and the mudras will be slightly explained, but mostly the mantras, what they mean and where they come from. Considering that many are watching via the video stream and later on camera that are new to kuji-in, this might be tedious at one point, so we'll take it easy, but I do wish to transmit the full extent of the wisdom, or else it's useless. So for the newbies who've never seen me, there are many videos on my YouTube channels that are called Emotional Integration. You should watch that. The first one takes about 50 minutes, once in your life, if you want to understand everything else I say on this kuji-in course. Okay? Because I won't teach it now, and it will be missing in your arsenal of tools to become super powerful with kuji-in. Okay? Starting with the first kuji-in, RIN. Okay? I won't retake the history, I won't explain where kuji-in comes from. This is not an introduction to kuji-in, this is advanced class. So I take for granted that you have an idea what kuji-in is. If you don't, it's okay, you're gonna have fun. Rewatch some other material that is already online too at another time. Okay. The first kuji-in of the 9, RIN. Being the first part of a process is supposed to initiate the entire set of 9. It's supposed to be at the origin or at the base of the entire wisdom, the entire experience. Okay. The reason why we would practice kuji-in in the first place is different for everyone, but what it does for everyone is augment the level of supernatural experience. When we practice kuji-in, we want to augment the supernatural experience about everything. Obviously there's a lot in martial arts, but the healers also practice it to heal better. And the simple meditators to have a kundalini rush once in a while. So if you consider RIN being the first step of that 9-step process, there's probably a base wisdom in the first kuji-in that is of some kind of importance for each of them. Okay? There's a reason why we do a step-by-step process in kuji-in. If you want to manifest more and you simply go through the side, Srijarivartara, Srijarivartaya is not enough to create. Because it works once you have the fundamental experience of just being there. Look inside and see if there's something afraid of being powerful. Are you afraid of power? Did you confuse power with violence? Usually when we have power, or when we experience power in our youth, we associate it with the moment where violence was done to us or by us, or in our environment. There's a confusion then inside us between violence and power. Power is wonderful. Power builds houses, it constructs, it creates new ideas, it helps people move their stuff, it heals, it repairs. Power gives you means to be efficient in what you want. But you have confused the idea of power with the few times it was violence because it left traces. Let's say you're just afraid of what could happen. Breathe right here in the abdomen. Now for martial artists, if you're gonna throw a punch or a Wing Chun style, and something inside you is afraid of being hurt. Let's say you like martial arts and combat, but you can't stand violence. Violence is unacceptable, but that part of you that emotionally implicates, I can't stand violence, I hate it, that part is afraid of being hurt. So you will be unable to give your full power in that punch. Of course you don't want to hurt the companion you're training with. But the reason why you should limit your power is out of choice, not of an enslavement to an unresolved fear. So that when you need to deliver full power, you have it. And when it's required by compassion to go easy on your training partner, you go easy by choice. But if you're afraid of that violence, something inside you holds back every single punch, every block, every strike, every kick. Everything is held back because I'm afraid of violence. I've confused violence and power. Power is beautiful. Power is that energy a baby has to cry when he first faces the world. Breathe. Power gives density to a rock. It makes the rain fall. It makes the winds push. Power allows trees to climb to the heavens while digging in the earth at the same time. Trees, they get Qigong. They get it. No classes required, yet no mind to interfere, so what the heck? Okay, so you understand the emotional feeling, the judgment. If you heal that, it doesn't mean that you accept that violence would be acceptable. Of course it's not. Violence is unacceptable, and it should be unacceptable because of your level of compassion, not because of the pain that you have not forgiven inside you. If you're afraid of that power, you won't be able to deliver. You won't make enough money to survive. You'll always fall short on something. If you have a lot of money, maybe it's always feel you didn't accomplish your best. You're gonna have something inside that will trouble you and be unable to really grasp the profound nature of kuji-in or any powerful experience you want to have in your life. Okay, so that is a healing you'll have to do. We won't do a 1-hour integration on it, but I need to talk about it. Why did your ego manifest interference to try to each time block me from giving you the explanation? Oh, this is how we become super powerful. Well, it's that energy. Hey, I don't like violence. It's unacceptable. But Maha, look at what's going on in Venezuela. This is unacceptable. You know, and you're all angry and everything. I can find it unacceptable and keep my sense of peace. I can look at what happens in the torture of people in Venezuela right now and not be emotionally implicated, still be in a sense of peace. And if I could do something, I would, with full power. And if I can't, I don't. Well, there is something I can do, and I am doing something about it. It's called prayer. And I'm not praying for the people to be free of their government. That would be ego control. I'm not praying for that. I'm praying for compassion so that absolutely everyone, regardless of opinion, would be filled with a desire to find good, compassionate, and peaceful negotiation grounds so that the violence would stop. I'm not praying for a specific party. That would be ego. That would be to favorize a choice. That would be put the government against me, and then they'd be angry if my wisdom gets there. You know, I can't start judging anyone. But I'm powerful when I apply my prayers. I do it, and it becomes a magical art. And then there's the Majutsu aspect of that powerful Butsu experience. And make sure that peace will find Venezuela. If you wish to have power, you must be conscious of the part of you that does not want it. because of a misunderstanding of the experiences of life. Okay? Read and feel the emotion. I'm not afraid of power. I'm aggravated by violence. That will release some tension here. Say, well, yeah, with power, I can be focused on what is the best possible action, or the stream of action I should take about a solution to find, or a plan to put in action. Okay, that's good, eh? All right. Fear of something does not prevent that thing. Fear of violence does not prevent violence. So stop being afraid, because it never works. It's not useful. Okay? Compassion toward violence is not to accept it. Compassion towards violence is to know how to treat it. Basic Buddhist wisdom on, well, it's just good sense, therapy, on how can I become more powerful? When I give that kick, I want to deliver 1,000 pounds of pressure. Unless it's going to hurt someone if I hit someone, so I'm going to go with exactly the amount of pressure that person can handle, which is fun. Then it becomes, dojo. So hitting someone in the face is unacceptable unless it's in a dojo by two commonly agreeing people. Those people who say, yes, let's do that, no rules. Well, usually there's a rule about face and groins, even when we say no rules. But I've got hit in the face by a guy I said no rule, and I remember. And I have been afraid of power at one point then. So I integrated. And then I say, the solution is not to be afraid of someone hitting me in the face. The solution is to say, no rule except the face and groin thing. Just to mention it, and then go back to the dojo and hit hard. Oh, in my youth I had a lot of fun in the dojos. We're good with that? The breathing is good? The feeling is good? At least it brought some growth. Okay. So about the wisdom of RIN. Take your bottle of water. Okay? Look at it. We have to do the entire thing. We can't. Let's start where we left off. No, wait, let's start over. Taste it. Alright? Doesn't really matter how it tastes. What matters is that you can call it water, de l'eau, agua, aquas, jal, ma'im, or any other term you'd name it in any language you know. Will it change anything about it? It won't change anything. Regardless how, you can put your bottle down, I'm just going to hold it to give my class about it. Regardless how you name it, it doesn't change exactly what water is. It's exactly what it is. Now, if you define water as something that is solid, it doesn't change its nature. It's exactly what it is. If you call it viscous, because water has a level of viscosity, we'll talk about it later on, it doesn't seem viscous, so it's not. I mean, if you can say this water is blue, did it really change the color? Unless you become a powerful manifester and it starts to obey your call. Because I've seen that. But that's not the point of that wisdom. We'll talk about manifestation later. Yeah, this guy, if I say this water is blue and blam, it becomes blue. Okay. I still can't do that because I didn't train this, but he did. He actually changed the color of his scarf. Sri Kaleshwar. He had a red scarf. He says, yeah, you say that this scarf is red, but I say it's blue. And it was blue right there. Didn't like do the thing to hide it or couldn't. No, he just said, but it's blue. And he just put it on his neck and it was blue. It's one of those Hindu scarves. People are like, oh my God. Yeah, he's a manifester. What I mean is, if you call it solid and it's in its liquid state, it's not solid. And if it becomes ice and it's solid, and you call it liquid, it doesn't change it. What I mean is that regardless what you have defined of water, it will remain exactly what it is, regardless of what you think about it. Okay? So the wisdom here is, how much in your mind do you believe that things are because you have made them to be, or decided, in fact, they're just as they are. Sometimes you have synchronicity in life, manifestation, and things happen and you find links and you say, wow, I manifested that. How about everything was perfect from the start and you just made links when it happened? And it's, oh, I manifested that because it's cool. Well, actually, you do manifest some things in your life. And this is where this wisdom has a flaw. Things are as much as what you define them, but your definitions still don't change the true nature of anything. And this is a paradoxical wisdom of the Zen approach that we learn in kuji-in. This floor is made of wood. If I decide that it's made of ceramic, I look at it, it's made of ceramic, I manifest. Maybe in 20 years he's going to destroy that wood and put ceramic because of some kind of manifestation I did 20 years back, which would be here in that 20 years in the future. But right now, seriously, it's wood. If I call it concrete with iron or steel reinforcement, it doesn't look like it, it doesn't feel like it. It didn't change the nature of that thing. Okay? So how much does my belief about something actually count if the thing is going to be just as it is? Let's push it one more step. Whatever you believe God is changes absolutely nothing on the true nature of what God is. If you believe that there is a God or not, doesn't change if there is a God or not, because if there's one, there is one. If there's none, there is none. And what you believe about it doesn't really matter. And whatever form or shape or definition or function you believe, and even those who says, I have the good definition, it's undefined, even that doesn't matter. Because if God is undefined, He will remain. And if you define Him, and He's undefined, He's going to remain undefined. And if in any way He is defined, or it is defined, if it's not a He, maybe He's not a guy, the typical question, is God a man or a woman? Well, that would be to believe that God is a human with a gender, which is not the case. Because 65,000 years ago, there was no human in this universe, and yet the universe existed. Therefore, God is not a human because there was a universe created way before humans could be there to define Him or not, if He did it or not. In other words, it doesn't matter what you believe in, because it never changed the nature of anything, regardless of the opinion you have on it. Breathe. When people ask Sakyamuni Buddha, is there a God? He never said that there's no God. He said, if I tell you that there is a God, you will build a misconception about it. And some students replied, so there is no God. And to that, Sakyamuni replied, if I tell you that there is no God, you're going to build a misconception about it. Well, what does that wisdom mean? It means that the amount of control you have in your ego, in your mind, about how much you need to Cartesianly understand the universe you live in, never change anything about the universe you live in. And that amount of control that you put in resisting the facts that things are exactly as they are. That fear that you have to simply be there. Because you're afraid of what will happen. Yeah, but what will happen? I don't know if, I'm so afraid. That lack of self-trust is built on the idea that you need to define and classify every experience you have in order to grasp them, which is not true. It's just as it is. Now, when you're a teenager, we have these personal growth classes, huh? When you start in the New Age world or you go in therapy, you need to discover who you are. You need to know yourself. Now here's the key with kuji-in, with the wisdom of Sakyamuni behind that. Whatever you believe what you are, and whatever you think you are, and which skills you have, and which kind of person you are, will not change what kind of person you are. Whatever you know of yourself is past. If you evolve, if you do personal growth, martial arts, spirituality, train in a gym, have a good diet, are conscious, self-aware of anything that makes you grow and evolve, it means that you're changing. So whatever you know about yourself is over the moment you know it, because you're evolving. Therefore, you don't know yourself. You just know what you were. Therefore, it's over. I know myself, of course you know your skills. I know I do music because I've made music, and I know I still do because I can still hear it if I want to. Alright, you've got this basic, repertory of this kind of skill set you know. But what defines you is not the few superficial things about which skills you have. Of course, you have a diploma in that kind of science, in that kind of work. You can work in that field. It doesn't define what you are, it defines what you can do. Okay? But this idea of knowing myself is not a pure approach to knowing what you are or who you are. Whatever you are is what you experience exactly now. But whatever you remember of who you believe you are, I've trained for years, so I'm strong. This is not true. This is what you remember until 1 second ago, or 1 year ago, or 20 years ago. But it's over, because you're modulating, and life gets you. If you know that you're strong and bam, you have an accident, and you can't be strong anymore because you're physically handicapped about it, then believing that you're strong doesn't define you anymore. Therefore, it's changed. However, what you really are in your profound nature is exactly what you are in your profound nature, and if you're stronger or not will not change that. Whatever can change is not really what you are, it's just what you can do. But what you are is the experience that you have there. Actually, what you are is the consciousness. Your ability to pay attention to the experience that you're having right now. And this is what you are. What you are is not what you know of yourself. It is what you're aware in the immediate experience. And the moment it happens, it's over. But you have a new now to be aware of, which is okay. Breathe. So how much do you reassure yourself? How much security do you get with this idea, I know who I am, I know my limits? Well, if you're gonna do martial arts, if you're gonna work in a certain field, if you're gonna take risks, it is imperative to know your limits. It is absolutely necessary to know up to which point you can do any kind of action and still feel safe. That's called staying alive, okay? Survival. That's good. However, knowing your limits should not define you as what you are in your experience. It should simply define your comfort zone on how much you believe you can still survive the experience of now while doing whatever you want, okay? Some extreme sports do damage the body, okay? Some accidents in life, some injuries here and there, and in the dojo that can happen and anywhere else, okay? You should know what you are able to do, but that's still not what you are. What you are can be observed as the result of your action if there are vicious actions or virtuous actions. Now this is what you are. Are you charitable or more greedy? Are you compassionate or more egocentric and self-centered? This is what you are. It has nothing to do with your skill set. It has to do with the inner motivation. How mature as a being did you get? How much evolved, or how much virtuous did you learn to act in life? And how much do you hide in vicious opinions and fears and regrets? Whatever you feel still guilt about in your life, what did you not grow from your past or not forgiven? Because you have this misinterpretation, if it's not acceptable, I should feel bad about it the entire life that remains. Okay? And then stay stuck in that past. That's not what you are. It's what you were. Whatever you know of yourself is over. What you really are is, in this moment, am I compassionate? Because that can change like that. You can be compassionate and then send someone to hell and lack compassion in that instant. Okay? To have vicious or neutral or virtuous motivations in whatever you do. This is what you are. That power inside that wants to manifest in your life experiences through what you are. And that cannot be defined because it's ever evolving and changing. Okay? So this idea that you believe that the more you understand in your mind, the more you'll know what you are, is false. That's just to establish, knowing yourself and your limits and your abilities and your competence in your mind, is to establish the territory or the playground in which you can have those experiences. But the discovery of what you are is based on the idea that you completely relieve yourself of whatever you know of yourself, or else you won't discover what is just there. If you're convinced in your mind that you are in a certain way of being, you'll never know yourself in any other way, because you have locked yourself in the idea that you are that way. You need to experiment new stuff, get out of your comfort zone, still making sure it's in your survival zone. You know you can survive. You won't hurt yourself too much. You won't hinder your ability to continue working. I was doing martial arts, and at one point I was doing the fist and the blade thing. At one point there was like something with the fingers, and this guy wanted to train with me and say, I'm going to take your finger and just play, see the finger locks. And I said, no way, I'm sorry. To play music, to work with a keyboard, I need my fingers to be fully functional. I cannot permit myself a single little tendon injury in one finger. And I'm not a military that needs to survive and learn all these locks, okay? I'm here to have fun in a martial art dojo. So count me out of the finger locks. Just in case the guy in front also doesn't know his limits and end up hindering my fingers, and I can't work for 3 weeks, will affect my finances and, you know, this kind of stuff. I was prudent. I went for a pussy, but when it was time to give a kick, we just went all out. Do you understand? Okay? So there's this survival zone where it's important, because we live in nature and stuff can happen to hinder your health, okay? You must establish a certain zone of security, but that security should be a prudent, responsible security zone, not an insecure, frightened, lack of confidence in yourself, security that nothing can happen. I'm doing martial arts alone with my martial art videos on YouTube, hitting in the air, you know? And then you never, that's not martial arts, that's learn how to dance weird alone. Okay? Martial means hitting someone, having a bit of pain, and then you grow from that. You build, okay? You see, that was an opinion. Don't worry about that. Maybe martial arts is kicking a piece of wood in your basement alone. It's okay. Okay, I can't have judgment. I should not. I'm sorry about that, you show. I have to apply that wisdom to myself. If I define martial arts to be only in a dojo, I just had a definition. I'll never discover what martial arts is if I've defined it's only done that way. You see? I just did it. It's a reflex in the mind. It was an opinion. I'm happy I did it because I can use a real life instance that I just did about it, okay? I don't know what martial arts is. And if I want to grow in it, I need to discover it. Let's find out. So these ideas we have of what is appropriate ninjutsu from which tradition? Oh, the real ninjutsu is from this tradition. Well, you'll never know ninjutsu if it's only that 90% of ninjutsu that Bojikan agrees with. And then people watching this video, you just insulted the Bojikan clan! No, I didn't. You did by your belief that it should be the exclusive one. I'm telling you that to do real ninjutsu, you need to be open. You just say, ninjutsu! And you wait to see what reveals itself. It could be with another tradition, it could be with a different teacher. You can learn different stuff, you can try your own. It will still be called ninjutsu, because in ninjutsu there's this creativity at one point of discovering your own body. You know, physiologically you need to discover your own self. So these conceptions of identity, okay, that locks us, our mind, into what things should be, are all based on fear, shame, or pride, okay, the three denials. Either you're afraid of what you could discover, or you're too ashamed of yourself because you know what you're going to discover, or you're too proud. You're too locked in this false sense of valor. I'm so great of doing that tradition or that kind of action, and I'm a good doctor, I'm a good lawyer, I'm a good this or that. Then you're stuck in the need to know precisely what you are, because it's what makes you feel good about yourself. Therefore, it's a self-centered lack of self-worth, pretending to be real self-worth to keep an illusionary value of yourself. That's full of bullshit. A pride, the false pride. The good pride is, I'm proud of you, I appreciate what you did. That's the good pride. It's a sense of satisfaction and gratification. That's gratitude. Okay? The good pride is actually gratitude. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself. What I did, I'm happy about it. That's good pride. It's gratitude. Okay? It's a sense of satisfaction. Okay? The bad pride, when we say the pride in the egocentric way, is that pride where you need someone else to come and validate how good you are. If you're really satisfied of what good you did, the real pride of being grateful to yourself from going to that point, that's good. But once that pride counts on someone else acknowledging that you did good, that becomes false humility. That's the bad pride, the pride that hurts you, the pride that locks you into that definition. I need to know that I'm doing this good. And then you lock yourself in this idea, I know myself because they said it. I know myself because they called water solid, and I want to believe it is too, even though it's not. Okay? So, this is the secret behind the mantra Om Vajramanataya Swaha. Vajra means in a certain way, I mean dictionary-wise it means a lot of things. But it means everything is just as it is and it's over. But whatever new is also just as it is. But it's over the moment it is, yet the new now is still exactly as it is. Okay? So Vajra is those who understand the consonants and vowels, the Va is vast or everything, just all. I understand it, that's the J. And Ra is as it is defined now. Okay? But then you're in the Va again. If you just repeat, go to the Vajra again, this Va start with just, oh, whatever. Okay? It's this opening up to everything. Okay? So everything is just as it is. Vajra. That's why we called it diamond, because it's unbreakable. It's super solid. This is the undeniable thing. You can't alter what we call illusion and reality. Whatever is an illusion will remain an illusion regardless if you believe it's real or not. And whatever is real will remain real regardless if you believe if it's real or not. It doesn't require your opinion about it. It will remain exactly in the pure nature of what it is. So we call it diamond because it will not be altered by outside force. Okay? We also call it lightning because the moment you see it, it's over. Because this is how you are. You know yourself in the moment that you existed, and then it's over. And that is why the word Vajra became diamond, adamant, and lightning, depending on the context where you use it. Because it's that feeling of exactly as it is. So the Ra at the end of Vajra doesn't mean that it's defined. It means that it's not. Because it's not Ra, it's Jra. It's this mind of defining is outdone by the Va of vastness. Okay? So this is what Vajra brings an experience, just right there. Okay? Man in the mantra, Vajraman. You can look at your sheets, page 6 of the Maha Technique. Page 6 you have the mantra written. So Om is just that Om of everything, okay? To say everything. Consciousness in all forms or whatever, okay? We'll give a speech on Om at another seminar. Vajra is that seized moment of, living the experience I want to know now. I live it. This is how I know I live it. It's not what I think about it. It's just, I live it. So it's that. Okay? Later we'll learn something that seems to be paradoxical and contrary, because we'll learn how to manifest. Where you are the one, when you get with Retsu Zai and Zen, whatever you believe and define is reality will become it. You give it time, okay? But we're not there yet. You can't change a reality if you are blocked to it. And you can't open up to a reality if you need to be reassured by knowing what it is in your mind. It will remain reality exactly as it is when it is. Or else it's not, okay? This is this hard to grasp aspect of every little thing you do. That punch was good, that punch was not good. Doesn't matter. It was exactly how it was, and you should just do another one, and it's over. You just move on. Okay? That cake that I just cooked, was it good or not? Well, we'll just say, according to our prevalence, we like it or not. And then you just try to get better for having more people enjoy it. If you try cooking, and you fail, and you say, I'm not good at cooking, so the more you do cooking, you just define yourself as bad at cooking, and then you finally say, I can't cook, I'm bad at cooking. Well, that's a misunderstanding of life. When you become good at something, it's because you started with training and the first results were not satisfying results. Okay? Like, I was doing music with computers for quite a while, but the specific aspect of doing orchestra, symphonic orchestra, was not good. I decided to learn. It took about 3 months, and I did sufficiently good. Not superhero, great orchestra chef in the world. No, sufficiently good to have most people who listen to it say, wow, that was good. That's what matters. It's not how good I was according to a professional who lives doing that. It's how good I was with people saying, wow, that was good, it moved me, I felt good when I listened to it. That's what I wanted, okay? If I thought to myself, I'm not good doing orchestra, I'm just gonna leave it. It would never happen, okay? My electronic music also was shit. It was very bad. It was amateur. But I never stopped there. I just kept going until it was good enough to play in bars and sell on iTunes. I did it. I didn't stay stuck on the idea I'm bad doing music. I stayed with the intention, this is not enough for people to enjoy it, therefore I must train more. That's it. Because I didn't lock myself in believing what I was, in which skill I was good or not. However, I still say I'm bad at cooking. But that's just because I don't feel like cooking, so I tell people not to use me as a cook. That's manipulation. If I trained enough, I could be good at cooking. And those who tasted my cooking, they probably say it's awesome. Then you go, yeah, that's freaking awesome. Well, not always. Just a few rare times, and you were lucky to fall on those good cooking times. Usually it's just pretty average. Okay, but no, because I don't care about cooking. I don't want to train in there. But whatever you want to train in, usually it takes years to understand how to very professionally looking or sounding compose orchestra. I just paid attention to it. And then there was this person, okay, beside me is right there, and she used to not like my music, probably because it really wasn't good. And it's okay. I'm okay with that. I start with the idea that at one point I was an amateur, and I was even pre-amateur at one point. And eventually she said, you know, how you really were crap with your music and then it become good in a very short time? Well, I need to learn that trick now for some other purpose. And I showed her, and within just a few months, she had the equivalent of years of training. She even augmented our muscle mass through supernatural means. If she had kept her mind on, I'm a weak little girl that cannot lift 100 pounds, she would never have done it. It took a few weeks. She was lifting that thing, taking it in her hand, moving around with 100 pounds or 80 pounds or something, and she could do more. And she did some tests, physical tests, that are usually, it's well-trained male policemen that do. And she beat the time. She had good scores, you know, because she was determined to become super efficient in that field. But it started with, stop believing that you're weak. Just be wise enough to look at yourself and say, right now, I am in a weak state. Because you have to acknowledge things as they are, but not believe that this is what you are. So if I believe that I'm not good at doing music, I'll never do good music. I'll just have to step back of what I am and know the difference between what I am and what I can do. Right now, I do music that people don't like. Therefore, I will even call it bad music. It's not what I am. I'm a good musician that does bad music. I have to become a good musician that does good music. How can I get there? And then I use my supernatural training, and within just a few months, it's completely shifted. And now it's professional level. You understand what I mean? Okay, that's 3 months to go from a bad to a good musician. Okay? In symphonic orchestra, that takes 10 years of training. And techno, that takes maybe 1 or 2. Okay, breathe. And it's okay. I don't believe that I'm one of those super awesome music players. I don't need it. I just need to deliver music that more people say it's good than those who don't like it. And I found satisfaction. So I'll stop progressing just because I'm satisfied with the level I have now. Until I reach a point of not being satisfied, it'll grow again. I'll want to. Okay, so I'm taking examples in my life and other students around here that are in person here. Just to inspire you. What you believe you are is not what you do. You should just take things as they are, and if you want to become something, acknowledge things as they are, but don't believe that this is what you are. My music is bad. I'm not bad music. I'm exactly what I am now, regardless of what I think about it. Good? So, that is Vajra. All this speech this morning. Vajra. Man, because it's Vajramanataya. Man means to keep your mind on it. Okay? It's from mana, you know, in role-playing games, mana, which is your magic energy. Well, it comes from mana of the Sanskrit, which means the substance of mind. The intellect is manasa in Sanskrit, and mana means the substance that the mind is made of. Okay? So this mind substance is man. So keep your mind into that state of Vajra. That's what Vajraman means. Okay? So, Om Vajramanataya Swaha is I keep my mind into that state of taking things as they are. It means that you want to consciously pay attention and make that decision. I will practice being just in the state of what things are. And still keep growing and progressing if this is what I feel like it. Don't invoke that Vajraman attitude to stop progress. Oh, I'll just take things as they are and never do an effort to become better. That's not wise. But you won't get better if you're stuck in the idea of what you are. Then you won't progress even if you want to. Or your progress will be slow. Okay? So that's Vajraman. You don't need to define reality for reality to be exactly what it is. It changes nothing. Experience it to the fullest, and that is how much you feel real. Then you are freed of illusion. Okay? So Vajra, Sakyamuni explained that the Vajra Chedika is the diamond that cuts through illusion. Reality will cut through illusion, because Sakyamuni did not teach only about illusion. At one point he said, you know enough about illusion, now it's time for you to contemplate what is real and go for the real consciousness of experience that you have. Okay? A lot of Buddhists don't know that part because they stopped at the first steps. As much as Sakyamuni taught everything is impermanent, he also gave a teaching about eternity. He says, now, you know everything is impermanent, but now you're stuck in the idea that everything will cease and you find life so depressing. So let go of that and contemplate the eternity of the true nature of all things. This is another teaching that Sakyamuni gave. So we must not be stuck in the idea everything is an illusion. Now, everything is real, but whatever you've defined over it is an illusion. And this is what you want to get rid of. In the Sanskrit, the word taya means flow. It means a river or a stream, or in a context of philosophy, it means whatever flows, whatever happens. Okay? So Vajramana is keep your state of mind into that Vajra mind state as it flows, as things happen. Okay? So now you have the explanation of the mantra. Swaha, some people say glory to, some people say it's to do a sacrifice. The swaha is when you put stuff in fire to burn it in a ritual sacrifice. Swaha, the word swa means self, and ha means expression. Ha. So swaha is a true expression of self. It means to be authentic. Okay? To be authentic means to remove what is not authentic. To remove something is to sacrifice it. That's how swaha became to sacrifice something. Because it means to remove from you what is not really you. Swaha is to become a true experience and an expression of the self in its purest form. Meaning that this is an object I really love. This is an attachment, therefore it's not a pure expression of what I am. I'll get rid of it. I'll sacrifice it for the purpose of spiritual growth and learning non-attachment. Then you grow. So swaha, which means to be exactly, honestly in the pure state of what you really are, became sacrifice. Okay? But in another context, it became to say glory to. Okay, like hallelujah. Okay? To chant, this is wonderful. Because a true experience of self, when you really are into it, is that enjoyment. Wow, that is so awesome. Exactly as it is now. I live it. I'm real. So swaha is that. To live it as a pure experience of self, deprived of the bullshit of ego fabrication. The ego is God, but the fabrication it makes will hinder you. And to rejoice of whatever is there. Okay, to find everything fun and wonderful. Om Vajramanataya Swaha. Breathe. Take things as they are. And you seek to have an authentic experience of life in everything. Then in the martial arts dojo, was that a good kick or a bad kick? It was a kick. And if you want, is it a good kick or not, doesn't matter on its position, its form, or the pressure you put on it. It has to do with how much damage it could do to someone else if you actually fought. That's a good kick. I had a class of martial arts once who said, you're going to drop all your Qigong shit, and all your ninjutsu shit, and all your Pakwa and Wing Chun and whatever else you've done. He asked me what I did, so I dropped a list. Okay, just forget it. And you're going to put that padding on. He said, oh, I can take a little kick. No, it's not going to be a little kick. Put the padding on. So he put some padding on. The face, the gloves. Okay, now this is a kick. And he just went, BAM! And I said to myself, thank God I had protection. And then he said, now you're going to kick me. But when you train in a martial art dojo with someone with this idea you don't really want to hurt the other, that's not a kick. That's a controlled ballet, dancing posture that looks like a kick, But if you do that and it doesn't damage your training partner, it means that you go in a street fight and you wouldn't do shit. Because the goal is to damage your partner. So he just went all out. And he gave me a kick and I said, oh shit, I've never had a kick, a real kick. You know, actually I was hurt in my life, but I never had a kick. Then I realized I never gave all out because the people could get hurt. So I just gave all out. And the guy said, oh, so you can kick. But now you know. Before you didn't know. And that's why we have padding in our class, because we just give all out. There's the groin in the face rule, okay? We just put this, yeah. We just put this there in case, because when you just go all out, you know, at one point we lose it. Which is why they give the class like that. But at one point they protect themselves and they give everything they have. Not 20 kicks in a row, one, so the other can experience it, okay? But that taught me how to give a kick, and every kick I did in Kempo and in Jutsu was not a real kick. It was a repeated, controlled ballet to know one day if I ever give a real kick, it should take more or less that posture. But it was, I didn't know. Then I went back to the dojo, and my real kicks I wouldn't do in training with people. I would do in a punching bag. I couldn't do real strikes with a partner anymore. It was over. That part died. I could not really fight with a partner because it would mean trying to destroy him. So we kept sparring, we kept giving something. But the idea of real powerful combat is to look at that target and make it cease to be functional as an organism. Okay? That's combat. That's the warrior mindset. And of course you do it with very padded people who got training in this. And respect with the groin and face thing. I got punched in the nose in that class. With a guy that gave everything, but when he saw it was going for the nose, he held back. And it didn't break. He said, oh shit, I'm happy it didn't break. But I was like, you know, a bit swollen and hurt everywhere. You know, he goes, oh my God. But that was a punch in the face. You know, that's the only real punch in the face I got until I asked Esteban to give me one in class. That's another time. Yeah, in class when I said, you guys are afraid of violence, so I'm not going to punch you in the face to show you're afraid of violence. I'm going to ask a student to slap me in the face with a slap, everything he's got. So I'll be slapped in the face, I will be hurt, but when it happens live in front of you, your fear of suffering will rise. And I asked the student to do it and give me a little cheeky slap. I said, come on, be a man, so I'll give a harder one. And he just went mad and gave everything I had, and I was, the world was shaking, and I hear my ear going, oh my God, you know, and he's probably watching right now. I said, thank you, that hurt, you know. Thank God I'm not that, you know, I'm not that affected in the sense I was really grounded and I know how to take a slap because, wow, that hurt, you know. And I, you know, the fact that I gave him a good one, he said, Maha, thank you. I've been afraid all my life to get a slap in the face, all my life. And now I got one, and this fear is over. I just don't want another because it hurts, but you know, I still exist. This fear is over. So, well, let's not do that. That was just once in front of students to help them heal their violence, you know. And these people, you know, there was women who have been beat up and raped in that crowd. There was a lot of suffering in the people in that crowd. When they saw me get slapped by a guy that had that angry face, their stuff rose. It allowed them to heal. Okay? Now, I'll never teach that way. I'm crazy. I'll do this. Okay? For one day, I had like 5 fingers really printed. Hey, what the hell happened? Oh, I just got slapped in the face. Ooh, let me kick his butt. No, it's okay. I actually asked him to do it. It's okay. In any case, breathe. Om Vajramanataya Swaha is to discover experiences as they are. To free yourself of any sense of control except through the virtue of prudence that will ensure your survival, and not just survival to stay alive, but to also not hurt yourself and become handicapped for 2 weeks. You know, even that is too much. You don't need that pain to evolve in life. I'm speaking mostly to martial artists sometimes in this specific kuji-in approach, but it applies to every aspect of life. Okay? So, cultivate the profound desire to let go of definition and discover yourself as you are through experiences, and know that you can become the supreme being that you desire becoming if you stop believing that you are not that supreme being at the moment. You are that supreme being that simply did not succeeding in manifesting anything supreme yet. But it's just in what you do doesn't confirm the absolute awesomeness of divinity that you are. Just find a way to physicalize it and become that super being. That won't come by pretension. Oh, by the way, I'm divine being, you should bow. No, that doesn't work that way. If you know yourself as that supreme being of ultimate power, it means that you know that the other is too. So you should try to get their mind to say, did you know that you are a supreme, super powerful being and great? Stop believing that you're such a piece of crap. You're not. It just looks like it temporarily. But you are an absolute supreme being. You just don't know it yet. And try to build their trust. That's the key to arrogance and vanity, to be pretentious. When you want so much to feel important to someone else, shift that and make the other feel important. Good charity starts with yourself, huh? You know that? Well, good pride starts with the other. Make the other feel important. You don't need other people's validation. You just need to take things as they are. Read. So we will do the mudra. Some in martial art do with the index. What happens is that their power rises, but not their ability to be conscious of the experience. So when the power rises with the index, it just makes everything rise in size in terms of power, and eventually will freak them out because they have no idea what is this pressure buildup. So we go with the major in our tradition, like some martial art tradition also go with a major, because it makes you more and more aware of what you experience. And we say with voice, whisper or loud, the mantra. Om Vajramanataya Swaha. Read. Now before you put visualization and chakra and everything, just you do the mudra, the mantra, you contemplate the wisdom. I want to cultivate this state of being where I just take things as they are. I want to stop believing in myself so I can know really what I am. I want to stop defining what I am so I can know through experience what I am. Through prudent and powerful discovery. Mantra. Om Vajramanataya Swaha. The Vajra mind state as things flow through a pure experience of self. Om Vajramanataya Swaha. And now on your own, in your mind, or whispered, Om Vajramanataya Swaha. Once in a while, you don't have to rush it. You charge it with a mala, you go fast with your mala in hand. When you do the practice with mudra, you relax. Recite it to discover the attitude. Definitions are not required. Exist or real. Definitions are the illusions that we need temporarily to ensure our survival. Eventually, you just want to let go of them. Wow, everything is just as it is. It's so extraordinary. Everything is just as it is. Nature is just as it is. God or divinity or whatever is just as it is. What I am is exactly what it is, with no difference with belief. It's just as it is. I am this divine act of God. Om Vajramanataya Swaha. Let go of a mudra, you go slowly through the prayer mudra and let go. Don't go violent. You just go, just so the energy don't get some kind of shock, so that you'll stay peaceful in your mind about it. Right. So that's the secret of RIN, the explanation of the mantra, and the wisdom behind it. And we started with the personal growth aspect of the confusion we have between power and violence, because this is one of those definitions which is an illusion. Power is not violent. Power is means. Power is ability. It's resource. Then you do what you do with it. Right? Let's take a break.